Headphone the silent listener who spoke like a pro. An inspiring story about how listening can change the way you learn English. Rahul was an ordinary boy from a small village in India. His school was basic. His classroom had broken benches, no projector, and the English subject was just another period nobody paid attention to. His parents worked hard to make ends meet, and English was never spoken in his home. In fact, nobody in his neighborhood used English. For Rahul, it was a distant, fancy language used only on TV by anchors, actors, and politicians. But inside Rahul, there was a quiet fire. Every time he heard someone speak fluent English, his eyes would light up. He didn't understand most of it, but he admired how confident and powerful those speakers sounded. Whether it was someone accepting an award on television or a cricketer giving an interview, Rahul was fascinated by the flow of English. The accent, the pauses, the rhythm. It was like music to him. He often thought, how do they speak like that? Will I ever be able to? But whenever anyone in his class spoke even 2 lines in English, Rahul stayed silent. Not because he didn't care, but because he was afraid. Afraid of mispronouncing words. Afraid of being laughed at. So, he stayed in his shell, secretly dreaming of a day he could speak without fear, without hesitation. One evening, something unexpected happened. While cleaning an old cupboard, Rahul found his grandfather's dusty radio. Curious, he turned it on. After some static and noise, he stumbled upon an English news channel. He didn't understand much. Actually, he understood barely anything. But there was something about the voice of the newsreader. It was calm, clear, and confident. Rahul sat silently, just listening. That night, something changed. He didn't turn off the radio. He didn't switch to a music channel. He kept it on and simply let the English wash over him. Couldn't explain why, but even without understanding the words, he liked how they sounded. From that day onward, listening to English became his new habit. Every day after school, while others played cricket or watched local TV, Rahul sat by the window and listened to the same English channel. At first, it was like trying to catch water with his hands. Everything slipped away. But after a few days, his ears began to notice patterns. He started recognizing simple words. Today, government, people, problem, school. Then came short phrases. According to reports, on the other hand, the situation is under control. Without knowing it, Rahul was training his ears. He didn't have a dictionary. He didn't take notes. He didn't stop the audio to ask what something meant. He just kept listening. And something magical began to happen. He started understanding not word by word, but message by message. The tone helped. The rhythm helped. The repetition helped. He realized that certain phrases were used again and again. He learned them just by hearing them repeatedly. It wasn't forced learning. It was natural, like how a baby learns to speak just by hearing the people around them. Rahul was becoming fluent in the language of listening. Slowly, his confidence grew. He began mimicking the speakers. He would sit alone and repeat the same lines he heard on the radio. He wasn't worried about grammar. He didn't even know the rules. He was focused on copying the tone and style. This simple method, listening and repeating, is called shadowing, and Rahul had discovered all by himself. He listened while sweeping the house. He repeated lines while walking to school. He practiced when feeding the cows. English became a part of his daily life. He wasn't studying it. He was living it. Meanwhile, in school, Rahul still struggled during English classes. His grammar was weak. His writing was average. But something had shifted. He was no longer afraid to listen. And because he listened every day, English started to feel less foreign and more familiar. Then came the moment that would change everything. The school announced an English speech competition. The topic was, My Dream for India. Every student had to speak in English for 3 minutes. Most students were nervous, but when Rahul's name appeared on the participant list, the class was shocked. Some laughed. He doesn't even speak in class, one student said. He'll forget his lines, another joked. But Rahul stayed calm. He had been preparing for this moment. Not for days, but for months through daily listening. He didn't have a private tutor. He didn't buy expensive books. He used what he had, his ears and his will. He wrote his speech first in Hindi. Then, slowly, he translated it into simple English. Not fancy vocabulary. Not long, complicated grammar. Just honest, clear English he had heard on the radio hundreds of times. Every day he practiced, not just reading it, but saying it aloud, again and again. He imagined he was the news anchor. He practiced his pauses. He practiced his tone. He didn't try to be perfect. He tried to be clear. And then came the big day. Rahul walked to the stage with shaky hands. He looked at the mic. For a second, he thought his voice would disappear. But then he remembered those confident voices from the radio. He took a deep breath and said, "Good morning, respected teachers and my dear friends. Today, I will speak about my dream for India." The room went silent. Rahul spoke clearly, slowly, confidently. "My dream for India is a country where every child, rich or poor, has a chance to learn. A country where we use our brains, not just our hands. A country where no one is afraid to speak, not even in English." His speech was simple but powerful, and when he finished, the crowd applauded. People were stunned. The boy who once stayed silent had just delivered one of the best speeches of the day. Not because he used difficult words, but because he connected, because he listened, and then he spoke. After the event, his teacher asked, "Rahul, how did you improve so much? Did you join classes?" Rahul smiled and said, "I just listened every day. That was my classroom." And dear friend, if you're watching this video right now, remember this. You don't need perfect grammar to start. You don't need a high-level vocabulary. You don't need to join a costly coaching class. You just need to listen every single day to English stories, to English conversations, to this channel. That's how Rahul learned. And that's how you can learn too. Start today. Put on your headphones. Play an English podcast, audiobook, story, or this very video. Even if you don't understand everything, just keep listening. Because listening is not passive. It's powerful. It changes your brain. It brings the rhythm of English into your life. It gives you confidence without fear. And one day, just like Rahul, you'll speak. Not perfectly, but proudly and fluently. Thank you for listening to today's story on Chai with English. If you found this story helpful, comment below. I will learn English through listening. And remember, your English journey doesn't need to start with books. It starts with your ears, your heart, and your belief. Subscribe, share, and let's sip English together, one story at a time.